They say being fired is humiliating. Being fired publicly by your billionaire CEO father-in-law is worse. When he ordered security to escort me out, something unexpected happened. 30 colleagues stood up, shut their laptops, and walked out with me without a single word spoken. If you value integrity over power and know silence allows cruelty, follow this story to the end and subscribe for more gripping true stories. The room was built to intimidate. Glass walls, dark wood, a table so long it separated power from everyone else. I stood at the far end, mid-presentation, my voice steady, my data airtight. Quarterly projections, risk mitigation, growth strategy. The kind of work I'd been doing for years, without applause and without mistakes. Victor Langley interrupted me with a raised finger. Stop. No explanation, no discussion, just that word. Everyone froze. 20 executives, board observers, senior leadership, people who'd learned survival meant not reacting too quickly around Victor. He didn't look at the screen, he didn't look at my numbers, he looked at me. This experiment is over, he said calmly. You're dismissed, effective immediately. For a split second, my brain refused to process the sentence, not because it was shocking, but because of how casual it was, like he was canceling a lunch reservation. I suggest you collect your belongings, he added. Security will assist. My father-in-law, founder, CEO, billionaire, firing me in front of everyone. I waited for someone, anyone, to speak. HR, legal, my husband Ethan, who sat 2 seats away from Victor, eyes glued to the table. Nothing. So I nodded. Understood, I said. That was mistake number 1 for him. I didn't join Langley Global because of family. I joined 8 years earlier when Victor barely knew my name. Back then, I was just another operations analyst who fixed problems people pretended didn't exist. I worked longer hours, asked fewer favors, delivered results quietly. When systems broke, I stayed. When deadlines slipped, I adjusted. When others took credit, I let them. That's how you survive in companies run by men who mistake control for leadership. When Ethan and I married, everything changed, but not in the way people assume. I didn't get promoted faster. I didn't get protection. I got scrutiny. Every success was questioned, every decision re-examined. Victor never accused me directly, but his silence did the job for him. She's here because of family. She's tolerated because she's useful. She's temporary. Men like Victor don't fire people privately when they want discretion. They fire publicly when they want dominance. Security appeared at the doorway as I packed my laptop. The glass walls made sure everyone could see. That was the point. I moved slowly, not dramatically. Calm hands, measured breaths. I wasn't stalling. I was observing. Across the open office floor, people were watching. Not gossiping, not whispering. Watching. These were the same people who'd worked under me through a 3-year infrastructure rebuild that saved the company hundreds of millions of dollars. Engineers who trusted me because I listened. Analysts who stayed late because I stayed later. People Victor called replaceable. I lifted my box and stepped into the hallway. Behind me, a chair scraped back. Then another. Then another. I turned. 1 person stood, then 5, then 10. No speeches, no dramatic gestures. They simply shut their laptops, stood up, and walked out with me. 30 of them. The hallway went silent. Victor stood abruptly. What the hell is this? No one answered, because loyalty doesn't announce itself. It moves. The elevator ride down felt unreal. No one spoke at first. The hum of the cables, the soft ding of descending floors. Someone's hands were shaking. Someone else wiped their eyes. I finally broke the silence. I don't think you have to do this, I said. This wasn't planned. One of the senior architects looked at me. It was overdue. Another added, we stayed because of you, not him. That was the moment it hit me. Victor hadn't fired 1 employee. He'd exposed himself. The fallout was immediate. By the afternoon, internal Slack channels went quiet. By evening, clients started calling, asking why entire project teams were unreachable. Victor released a statement about strategic restructuring. It sounded confident, polished, empty. But confidence doesn't keep contracts alive. 3 major partners paused negotiations within 48 hours. 2 demanded leadership clarification. Stock dipped. Victor called Ethan. Ethan came home late. He didn't ask how I was. He asked what I'd done. Dad says this escalated unnecessarily. You embarrassed him. I stared at my husband, the man who'd watched me get publicly dismantled without saying a word. I was fired, I said, with security. He's old-fashioned. You know how he is. Yes, I did. That night, he asked me to sign an NDA. Generous severance, quiet exit, no public statements. In exchange for silence. I refused. Ethan slept in the guest room. 2 weeks later, he moved out. We didn't leave with a plan. We left with trust. 31 professionals, suddenly unemployed, sitting in a borrowed conference room with folding chairs and bad coffee. No investors, no safety net, just shared values. We didn't talk about revenge. We talked about standards, how leadership should work, how credit should be shared, how fear poisons innovation. Someone joked about naming the company Walkout. We didn't. We named it Northline because we needed a direction that wasn't tied to anyone's shadow. Victor resigned 6 months later. Officially, it was a planned transition. Unofficially, it was bloodless exile. He kept his wealth, lost his control. Langley Global never recovered its culture. You can replace people, but you can't replace trust once it leaves the building. Northline grew slowly, deliberately. No shouting, no fear, no glass walls. Just work. 2 years in, we signed a contract Langley had chased unsuccessfully for 5. 3 years in, our valuation crossed theirs in one division. Victor never called me. Ethan finalized the divorce quietly. I didn't fight him. Some losses don't deserve resistance. People ask if I regret it. Losing security, losing status, losing a marriage tied to power. Here's the truth. I didn't lose anything that respected me. I gained 30 colleagues who chose integrity over comfort. I gained work that didn't require shrinking. I gained proof that leadership isn't inherited, it's earned. Victor tried to humiliate me in 5 minutes. Instead, he taught everyone watching exactly who was worth following, and they followed me out the door.